All right, we're going to get started with some intermediate cartridges today. And I figure the best way to do that is to get started with where the 5.56 came from. No, it did not come from the 223. It originally was the 222 because that was it. That was what was introduced and what Remington started with to develop the cartridge we now know as the 5.56 and the 223. All right, 222 Remington. Ballistically, it's going to be very similar to your early 223 loads, but running a little bit cooler. The 223 took a 222 Remington case and stretched it to give it more powder capacity and obviously bigger powder charge, faster bullet, right? But the bullet weights are very similar, with 40 to 60 grains being common for the 222. 40 grain bullets, you're looking at somewhere between 35 and a half and 36. 50 grains, somewhere between 31 and a half and 32. 55 grain, close to 3,100. I'd say somewhere between 31 and 3/4, 3,100, 30 and 3/4, 30, 31, somewhere in there. And the 60 grain, which is going to be 29.50 area. So this is very similar to early 223 Remington loads. And one interesting thing about it is with the 222, a lot of the rifles that were chambered for it used a 1 in 14-inch twist barrel. And what's funny about that is that's the twist rate of the original M16. And the original M16 caused some absolutely amazing, for its size, wound channels on VC and NBA forces that were unfortunate enough to come across it when the early ones worked. So very effective, very effective. I would imagine just because of the similarities in performance, you would see a lot of these in places like Spain, Italy, previously France, a lot of places in the European Union and throughout the world that restrict the ownership of military calibers just because of the overall similarities of the bullet. I'd imagine you'd see a bunch of 222s floating around in those places. And it's still effective as a like smaller medium game cartridge like Antelope, Pronghorn, Varmints, of course. You're going to get somewhat close to a 223 trajectory, but not quite as much ass on the receiving end as a 223, just from the lesser case capacity. But still a solid cartridge, and you really can't start talking about the 5.56, which I do plan on doing, without kind of mentioning that one because that is the parent case for it. So, or at least the round that started the development of what we now know as those cartridges. So 222, I mean, it used to be quite common in bench rest competition, but 6mm PPC kind of knocked it out of that little route, but still a good cartridge. I mean, I'd shoot one.